Good afternoon, Ankur. How are you?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm fine, thank you.
So, please introduce yourself to the board.
Sir, my name is Ankur Kumar and I belong to Patna. I have done my schooling till there, and afterwards I moved to IIT Delhi to complete my BTech in engineering physics. I graduated in 2017, and after that, one of the college projects which I was pursuing during my degree, that I continued into a startup company. So that is which I'm a part of right now.
So, you started your own company, Kriya Labs, in 2017.
Yes.
So, tell us the journey of this Kriya Labs.
So the idea was conceptualized in my first year in 2013. The idea was to make a paper recycling machine which could be installed at various places, for example, at home, where paper waste can be converted into usable products. However, sir, during the course of time, I realized that instead of using waste paper, we can use the stubble which is burnt in primarily in Punjab and Haryana. And accordingly, we developed technologies to convert that stubble into biodegradable products like plates, bowls, etc. So supposedly it was a win-win for both the sides, for the farmers in order to provide a compensation for their waste, and as an alternate to plastic materials also.
So, how much production you are doing yearly?
Sir, actually, in the startup, we have developed the technology. We have proven the feasibility part. But when it came to the development of viability and setting up the production unit, that is where we are stuck right now. And right now we are moving to a consultancy based model, as in people who are approaching us, we are sharing the know-how which we have generated so far.
So, it is almost more than 5 years of the initiation of your company, the company you started. So, you are not making any machines, you are just on the early stages, or you are making machine, you are selling the machine to the other producers.
So right now we are at the early stage only. We have developed the technology through multiple levels, and that is where our core focus was. In terms of business development, sir, our development has been limited.
But you have mentioned the monthly salary is 70,000, then how you are earning?
Sir, that 70,000 was an average salary which we got sometimes, depending on the amount of funding we generated. So we were 5 to 6 employees, and we had to allocate our resources accordingly in human resources, in establishing the pilot system, in getting the raw materials, etc.
Okay. So writing Hindi poems is one of your activities and interest. So
Yes.
who is your favorite Hindi poet of 20th century?
Sir, actually, writing Hindi poems is what I am interested in, but unfortunately, I have not gone through many poets as such.
So you don't usually read Hindi poems, but you write.
Yes.
You have mentioned that you have granted patent for agricultural residue fractionation. I think it's related with your startup.
Yes.
So what do you think about the need of innovation in field of agriculture? How important it is for in current scenario?
Sir, firstly, agriculture is the area where most of our workforce is employed, and that is contributing to less than 20% of the GDP. So using innovation, for example, promoting food processing industries and doing scientific farming, that can shift the population to some other businesses. Secondly, sir, the productivity part also, we are mostly doing on rice and wheat based agricultural farming. There is a need to increase diversification, and that will be done if we are able to properly understand the market requirements and accordingly do our farming practices. And thirdly, I believe that agricultural residues part, which we were also working on, is one of the major potential, and that can be used to generate fuels like bioethanol and also materials as an alternative to plastics. So these kind of innovations can possibly increase farmers' income.
So what more innovations or inventions can be done to increase the farmers' income in a significant way?
So firstly, the integration of primary, secondary, and tertiary sector could be done by food processing industries and creating the local market opportunities. For example, if somebody is cultivating haldi, then a locally generated haldi processing unit can be used to market these kind of materials and generate extra revenue for the farmer. Secondly, sir, the insurance part in terms of providing resilience to natural climate disasters and rainfall, etc., can also help to boost farmers' income. And thirdly, I believe connecting these farmers in a form of an institution like promotion of farmer producer organization and connecting them to export centers using riverways and roadways will also increase their incomes.
You are from Bihar. So
Yes.
Bihar, agriculture of Bihar is facing some significant issues which are different from other states. Can you highlight those issues?
So from what I have known, primarily it is the issue of land fragmentation. The amount of marginal farmers are very high, and that is because of which the mechanization of farms is not being carried out properly, and it has increased the cost of farming. And secondly, I believe that recently there has been a significant progress because Bihar has become one of the largest producers of vegetables and fruits also. So that is what I can remember of night.
Anything related with APMC, MSP?
So APMC was abolished in 2006, if I'm not wrong, sir, in Bihar. So MSP regime, most of the products are not purchased at MSP in Bihar, and these are sold directly to markets either through mediators or through themselves.
So that's I asked, do you think there are some issues? Are there issues that APMC are not there, MSPs pe we are not buying things?
Sir, I would say that MSP is largely oriented towards specific 20 to 23 crops like rice, wheat, etc. Whereas farming in Bihar is as recently pivoted to horticulture and fruits. So abolishing APMC has created a kind of opportunity which Bihar has which has enabled Bihar to emerge as one of the fastest growing state.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ankur,
Yes.
you are engineering in physics.
Yes.
One question that I'm asking many students, but no one has answered me yet. What is the law behind the boomerang? Or which physics law is applicable on boomerang? When we throw boomerang, it comes back. What is the physics law which is applicable on that?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm also not aware of this. I'll go and check.
Okay, you have started a startup.
Yes.
What do you understand by startup and how is it different from a regular business? If someone is starting a business, buying a shop and start selling something, and how is it different from startup?
So the core rationale of a startup is to solve problems in an innovative manner, whether it be in terms of innovating in technology or innovating in terms of business model. And when it comes to doing a traditional business, that is focused on doing what is happening and making incremental changes in that. Secondly, sir, in startup, mostly the focus is on growth. And in a traditional business, the focus is on generating more profits.
You used the term innovation.
Yes.
How is innovation different from creativity? Or are they same?
Sir, innovation is more towards applicability part, where a certain invention or a certain creation is used for specific purpose. Whereas creativity is a more general concept. Somebody can be creative while writing a poem, while doing a painting. Somebody can be innovative while, for example, using batteries and putting them on auto rickshaws and making them e-rickshaw.
Then what is jugaad? They use the term jugaad. Very popular here.
Yes. So jugaad, I would also say, is a kind of innovation, but it takes into account the feasibility part more and is limited in terms of the viability part.
Okay. What is angel tax? It's related to startups. It's gaining currency, this term. It was even in news this year. What is it?
So in the early stage startups, the high net worth individual or anybody who invests money, he becomes an angel for that startup, and the amount of money which is invested in that startup, the angel tax says that that amount will be reflected in as the income, and that income will be taxed, and that tax is called the angel tax.
Why is it in controversy and why is it not accepted well?
So in most of the early stage startup, funding is of prime requirement. And let's say if a startup raises a crore of revenue and 20% is charged, then 20 lakhs has been invested back in the government itself in the form of taxes. So firstly, the startup has to give out equities on the basis of total amount of funds which is generated, that is 1 crore, but 20 lakhs has not been used to create any value as such in that particular startup. So
what do you think India needs? Knowledge-based economy or innovation-based economy?
So I believe that India needs an economy of holistic growth, which not only takes into account the economic development, but also economic growth in terms of human development and knowledge and
okay, well, how are they different? Knowledge-based economy and innovation-based economy.
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand the exact technicalities on the difference.
Okay, no issue. Have you heard the term gig economy?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
Sir, recently many companies are hiring people on the basis of a contract, like a partner. So for example, taxi aggregator companies are saying that the drivers which run the cab are not their employees, rather their taxi partners. So that kind of a model, we call it as a gig economy, because that is not a completely formal and also not a completely informal economy.
So what do you think? Is it good or bad?
Sir, it is a new concept which has been able to generate a lot of positive interest in terms of increasing the employment of people, generating new opportunities. So in that context, it is good. However, there are apprehensions that these kind of economies do not provide social securities. So in that front, it might not be that good.
What do you think can be done to provide them social security? Some innovative ways that you can suggest?
So maybe firstly, insurance can be provided to these gig workers, and that the premium of that insurance can be paid partly by the aggregator and the partner. Secondly, that is the one idea which I am able to
No
generate.
issue. Do you think like there is a concept gathering some acceptance that poverty in India is a behavioral problem rather than income problem? Do you understand what is the question I'm asking? Behavioral issues or behavioral reasons lead to poverty. Can one be poor due to one's behavior? Do you think?
So one of the philosophy goes like that poverty resides in one's mind.
Yes.
So from that perspective, one can say that behavioral reasons may lead to poverty.
How
Uh,
can one's behavior lead to poverty?
So poverty, from what I understand, is the limitation to not being able to work or not being able to have a basic lifestyle. So behavior-based poverty can come from the lack of motivation in people to work, firstly. Secondly,
One is working, earning well. He is having 6-digit salary. But again, he is poor. Is it possible?
so firstly, if one is earning, let's say, 6-digit salary and he's spending more than that, then it might lead to poverty. And secondly, I believe that poverty can also be connected to the feeling of satisfaction and content. So if somebody is earning a 6-digit salary, but is always aspiring for, let's say, 10-digit salary, then he might not be happy and content.
You're not getting my point. See, one is earning income, but one does not have habit of saving, does not have habit of buying insurances. One event and boom, he's on the bed and having no income.
Yes.
So that is the behavior is the problem, not the income.
Okay. Okay, sir. I'll keep that in mind.
Sir, please.
Okay. So much discussion happens about stubble burning around Delhi, and still this year also same thing happened. People suffered. Why the solution is not coming there?
Sir, stubble burning is a relatively complex problem, and what from my experiences from the ground survey we have done, the farmers also say that कि धुआं सबसे पहले हमारे घर में जाता है. So we need to understand that the solution of stubble burning has to come from both sides. It has to be firstly a bouquet of solution. For example, in the form of in situ and ex situ solutions, like happy seeder and compensating farmers for their agricultural residue to use it in different applications. Secondly, primarily these farmers are burning paddy straw, and they are not burning wheat straw, because wheat straw has an abundant market in the form of cattle feed, in the form of paper mills, etc. So if there is a economy around paddy straw, then I believe that would be incentivizing the farmers to be able to collect and provide these for further processing.
It is said that some date is been given for the fixed production for the farmers by government.
Yes.
And even that is behind the stubble burning. Is that a case?
So that is the fundamental reason. That was because to conserve the groundwater table, a particular date was given, which shifted the rice harvesting 15-20 days later. And
So how groundwater table issues could be there? Like what date will make a difference?
The arrival of monsoon in order to get the water fields irrigated was the major criteria, instead of using groundwater irrigation.
Okay. Okay. So shall we stop these dating issues? Shall we remove the date condition?
Sir, I think that instead of a blanket removal of the date condition, which was itself put into place because of ecological issues like water conservation, more proactive steps should be taken for better uptake of these agricultural residues, firstly. And secondly, the focus should be on crop diversification also.
Okay. Okay. What is the difference between the physics and the metaphysics?
The physics is the study of physical phenomena around us and understanding them rationally and technically. Metaphysics is a more philosophical understanding of these things.
Okay, same thing. Physics to be understood philosophically.
Yeah, like for example, sir, the speed of light. We assume that the speed of light is a constant in physics. In metaphysics, we can always deal with why the speed of light is constant and what can be philosophical justifications of that.
Okay. Okay. So India, it is said that more metaphysics is there than physics. Is it correct?
I would say, sir, that these two things exist in parallel. Physics is a proper study, mathematics behind it. Metaphysics is a more rationalizing of on the facts, or maybe more creating new ideas.
Okay. In the budget, something has been done about laboratories for scientific research. Have you gone through what is the new idea they have tried in the to push the innovations?
I'm sorry, sir. I have not gone through it. I'll go through it, sir.
Okay. Okay. Why the patents? India is one of the most lagging into patent filing. You know, small country like Netherlands have more patent than India.
Sir, one of the reason which I think is the huge gap between industry and academia, and because of that, the kind of problems which industry face, they are not translated in the form of patents in academic institutes where the research is happening the most. Secondly, because in India, most of the patents are filed by multinational bigger companies and not essentially by MSMEs. Their numbers is limited. And thirdly, I think the patent enforcement part is also relatively weaker. And because of that, only certain sections like pharmaceuticals are more interested in pursuing patents and doing patents.
Okay. What is the difference between the government and the governance?
So government is the body which does governance.
Okay. So what is tangible and what is intangible?
Tangible is something which we can sense using our senses.
Government is tangible or government is intangible?
Government is tangible. Governance, I would say, is intangible.
Okay. Government should work as a regulator or as a facilitator?
The role of government is to properly enact the social contract. And in order to do that, sometimes it has to act as a regulator and sometimes it has to act as an enabler.
Emphasis should be on which role?
I believe more emphasis could be done on the facilitator front.
Okay. It is said that a bureaucrat should go for a role-based administration instead of a rule-based administration. Can you tell us the difference?
Sir, rule-based administration is implementing things which is literally written in the rules, while role-based administration is basically inculcating your ideas to implement a broader vision. So, for example, let's say if the task is to create employment in your district by a particular DM, then a role-based job would be to envision new ideas on the basis of which local opportunities can be generated and employment can be generated.
When you are running the startup, how you face the government? How you found the government is playing the what you are saying? Similar role, facilitator, role-based administration.
Sir, my first interaction with the government in the form of startup was getting the recognition from Startup India. And that recognition led us to getting funds from different institutes. Secondly, in terms of putting up a pilot unit and a commercial unit, we had to go through different kind of regulations for getting pollution clearance for establishing the unit. So,
How was the experience?
Sir, experience, I would say, was mixed, because there were certain regulatory issues in our startup, but I was not able to properly translate that and I was not able to communicate that to concerned authorities there. So, and on the other hand, in terms of getting the recognition for the startup, that was relatively easier, and using an online portal, we could do that. So that was very enabling for us.
Okay, have you come across any demand for corruption, right?
Sorry, sir. No, sir.
Have you come across any demand? No.
For the startup, from my experience, I did not come for any.
Okay. Last question on my side. What is the difference between the drama and the theater?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware.
Okay.
Hello, Ankur.
Hello, sir.
So you've written writing Hindi poem as your hobby part.
Yes.
So can you describe or can you recite any 2 lines Hindi poem, Shairana andaz mein?
Sure. So generally, I write on the inner contradictions or dilemmas which I face. So one of it goes like कि ख्यालों में तो लगता पूरा जहां ही है, मनोवेग से गति कहां से कहां पहुंचा देती है, कुछ बातों का सृजन, कुछ बातों का स्मरण, कभी कभी तो लगता है हकीकत सा ही है, परिस्थितियों के खुले जोड़ ख्यालों में मिल जाते हैं, मनोवांछित बुनाई हो तो कभी पर्वत कभी तूफान से लड़ जाते हैं. इट गोज समथिंग लाइक दैट.
गुड. कुछ क्वेश्चंस जो कहते हैं ऑलरेडी सर ने पूछे थे, उसी में से मैं आगे कंटिन्यू करता हूँ. जैसे इनोवेशंस की और टेक्नोलॉजी की बातें हो रही थी. सो हाउ यू सी द यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी इन द एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर?
Sir, as we discussed earlier, agriculture is one of the backbones of Indian economy, and technology can be an enabling factor in that. For example, recently PM drones also are used to spray fertilizers and do image-based analysis for agriculture. Secondly, in terms of food processing also, we can employ new techniques to manufacture ethanol and thereby meet our emissions target. And thirdly, sir, by dehydration technologies, we can also increase the shelf life of perishable products like vegetables and fruits, and maybe can export to various countries.
So Startup India comes under which department?
This is under Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade.
Good. Do you think any regulatory authority should be there for startups?
I'm sorry, sir. Regulatory authority.
Do you think any regulatory authority should be there for startups, as because startups has been overvalued, the bubble of startup has been going on, the concept. So do you think any regulatory authority should be there for startup?
Sir, from what I understand, the kind of valuation is done for a startup, that is done by an independent market valuer, and which is vetted by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So that is what I believe the regulation is there at present, and I think it is more or less fine for promoting the startup culture.
Okay. Do you think should happiness be the criteria in determining nation's growth?
Sir, happiness can be one of the criteria to understand the nation's growth in a more holistic manner. But bringing objectivity in understanding happiness is where the challenge resides.
What, according to you, what makes you happy?
So, so far I have realized that one thing which makes me happy is to give my ideas life. Creating something which generated in my head and giving in some tangible form.
So what is the difference between made in India and make in India?
I'm sorry, sir. I am not aware of the exact difference between the two.
Do you think India should criminalize the marital rape?
Sir, the institute of marriage is a very complex one, as it involves both personal values, social values, and legal values as well. So there are various challenges in terms of criminalizing marital rape. Firstly, one cannot justify if there has been a non-consensual relation between the partners or not. But also, secondly, there is no verbal agreement as such. There is no written proof also as such. But on the other hand, there are instances of exploitation of partners. So I'm not very much sure if criminalization would be the right step forward or not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
We will get in touch.
Thank you, sir.